Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Baron here, and we're on the CBT server. We got a little bit of new stuff. As you can see right there, there's a KV-1. So we have Tier 1 still available, and we also have some Tier 2s. Now, you may be thinking, oh, Baron, that's just another T-34. Well, also notice, is it just me or the texture's a little different? Huh. This is a T-34 57 with a 57mm main gun. This thing has incredible penetration, that's why it was designed as such. Using this 57mm gun was for the added penetration to give it. While the T-34 generally had, the smaller, shorter barreled, 76.2mm gun, this one was developed to destroy tanks, while that 76.2 was generally, kind of a dual purpose gun, both infantry support and anti-tanks. So we got our first shot on the board. Now I'm versing a T-34 1941, so I should be able to penetrate him relatively easy. On the other hand, he should not be able to penetrate me. Now I've set him on fire. So we'll pull back to safety and watch him burn. And I mean watch him burn. He's behind trees. That's kind of a topic of contestation right now. I saw him on the minimap, so I had a general idea where he was. But the green X, the colored X's, people, I think from all the comments I've read, and there's been a lot on the topic, that, they're okay with the X being there in arcade mode because it shows you where your shell's going to land. Maybe in realistic battles and definitely in simulator battles, whenever they come out, no one really, probably no X, you'd have to get a feel for it. Just like the lead indicator is in arcade mode, but once you hit realistic battles and simulator battles, it is no more. So, let's see. There's only one capture point. Interesting. The map has been slightly changed up. Now, I'm a little unsure. This feels different. The map looks like, I don't know, it could be the time of day. It looks like there's more texturing on the ground. Looks like we're getting flanked hard from the other side. I'm going to try to make a run for it. Since this 57mm gun is basically, it's arguably a sniper type gun. It has great penetration at most distances. And I believe it has some of the best penetration right now. But you have the mobility of the T-34 chassis. So it looks like they are in the process of capping. I'm a little nervous to head up here, but you know what? What is that? T-34 1941. Alright, look at that. A bounce. Trying to go for a machine gun port right there. I can't really see it. I know the general area where it is. I lit him on fire. So seeing as how he's going to die, is anyone sneaking up on us? We'll pull back a little bit. Ooh, we showed our lower glacis plate. That was a little foolish right there, but he will die, and hopefully before he caps. Oh, did we hop into realistic battles? I believe we did. So we got that kill from the grave. And it looks like we are in a realistic battle, which would make it interesting with only one capture point. Those things are actually going to be kind of short and fast. So, interesting nonetheless to see what's happened now. Resume. And you can't really watch. I would imagine this is for if you're in a squad. You can't really just follow someone anymore. It looks like we have some KV-1s engaging. 2 friendly KV-1s versus an enemy one. The funny thing about KV-1s is, and actually, I think these 3 KV-1s are all on the same. No? Yeah, they're definitely shooting at each other. KV-1s have an amazing amount of armor, but their frontal gun is relatively insignificant in terms of penetrating other KV-1s, especially from the front. So this could be a rather lengthy engagement. Now I'm trying to get a handle right now. If you look at the top, capture point A is, decreasing very, very slowly. Ooh. Yep, so that KV-1 finally was able to hit one of the other ones. We were defeated somehow. But there's a new game mode right now. And I'm trying to get a handle on what it is exactly. We got 2 kills, did alright. I honestly thought that I had as much time as I wanted. And there was a few people, there may have been some AAA kills in there. But it's really interesting, that game mode. Karelia, no response, domination. Or no respawn domination. Alright, so we'll go real quick to custom battles, get an idea if there's new maps. We have Karelia, Ash River, and Kuban. So what it looks like to be, we'll back out of there real quick. Yeah, I did arcade battles, but it must be after releasing ground vehicles and unlimited alting. Okay, that's the standard little announcement. So there's nothing basically saying, hey, what's happening today? I should check the forums. But let's go over some of the new vehicles, right? So you see the tier 1s. This is what we've been playing for, I think, about a week or 2 now. And as far as tanks I haven't tried before, there's the T-34 57, which you can see here. Look at that, 57mm long gun. We saw it in action. Was able to penetrate. I mean, if I missed this machine gun port, I was aiming at the front of a T-34 and able to penetrate it. I think I shot in the general area on that second kill, so it was likely that's what did it. But when you look at the penetration of this thing, it's pretty impressive. 110mm at 100 meters. You know, and you compare that to something like also another new vehicle here. We have the Su-76 M. Pretty cool looking, rather unique. There's the inside of the fighting compartment, very detailed. I mean, if you look at that, look, you can see the shells right there, some more shell racks right there, shell racks, you know, some scopes and whatnot. All manner of awesomeness for this tank destroyer right here. Here's the T-34 1941. We've seen it, we've played it before. And now we have the KV-1 and KV-2, which we've also played before. This is the KV-2 1939. It is storming really, really bad right now. I've got a tornado warning in the background. Had it sent to my phone. Fun stuff. So I believe we've played with the KV-2, but I thought that it was the Tier 3 version, because there will be 2, I believe. Yeah, the M10 or the M10T howitzer. I think we had a different one. We'd have to check back. And then we have the T-80 light tank. So let's, yeah. Let's check it out. It's cool that you can kind of test drive these things before you buy them. Now that's on the test server, but it'd be nice to have it, you know, on the main server. Let me know if you'd like to see that. I can't really imagine many people not wanting that function. Alright, so let's take a look at this little ugly thing. It's just a much bigger turret on what seems to be a slightly modified, you know, T-70 chassis. Really interesting. Still 45mm gun. Yeah, pretty interesting right there. So we'll return to the hangar and show off some of the other stuff. But overall, I'm kind of excited because in the matchmaking you have Tier 1 battles and you have Tier 2 battles, and we were talking about the T-34 1941 L11. This one's got the L11 gun, this one's got the F-34 76mm. So when looking at penetration, we got 83mm at 100 versus 45mm, oh excuse me, versus 33mm at 100 using the stock ammunition. So there's an incredible increase, but it's still a T-34 chassis, which makes it so difficult to deal with at Tier 1. But it's got a battle rating of 2 versus a battle rating of 2.7. So battle ratings will actually come into play now. If you're rocking this one, you're not just going to be able to stomp Tier 1s, you may be putting in a Tier 2 game. Pretty excited for that. So I think when you look at them, and as far as new tanks, we got the T-34 57, the T-80, and the Su-76 M. I think this one's a little different, the KV-2 1939. Now let's check out the Germans. What do we got over here? Looks like we got the Stug 3F, and the Stug 3A. So you got your 75mm, you know, much better tank destroying gun. Panzer IV F1, Panzer IV F2 with a 75mm gun, 75mm KWK-37, and 75mm KWK-40 L43. So when you look at the penetration, once you buy the tank, you're able to basically see all of that, which is interesting. And then you have the Panzer III M with its 50mm, so there's some decent penetration right here. And you got your Stug. But as far as like tank chassis or anything like that, there's nothing new. We don't have any Hetzers or anything like that yet. And I'd imagine that the Hetzer would fall into Tier 2. I think. But anyway, we got the Panzer 38T. I don't think we've seen the Panzer 35T, but that would be a relatively low Tier 1. They might add that later if they haven't really been testing with it now, because you don't really need it if you have the 38T and all these Panzer 3s, Panzer 2s, and even the Stug over here and the low tier Panzer 4. Only the Flak Panzer, the Germans, I think when you compare them to the Russians, have much better future options in terms of, you know, self-propelled anti-aircraft artillery. They experimented a lot. They even built a number of series that, you know, went into mainstream production, but they have enough prototypes that were built and worked on some pretty cool designs. So it'd be fun to see where they go. I think that the Russians have the better ground attack airplanes, but the Germans have the better self-propelled anti-aircraft artillery. So it's going to be exciting to see what happens with that. The Americans still got aviation, but no one really does that. And as far as aviation now, we also have Tier 2s. So we have Stuka D3 and Stuka D5. And I think we don't have... Do we have the D3 on the main server? I know we have the D5. Interesting. I need to play my Stukas a little more. But we have our fast Sparvieros. We got some Mach 202s. The BF-109E, or Fs. And I think E's for early right there. Some Dorniers, Schnellbomber, and another big old Heinkel. So it's going to be exciting to see how that plays out. And as far as the Russians, we have the IL-4, Lavochkin 5. Yikes. This thing running around when you're in a bomber. Not really looking forward to dealing with that guy. The MiG-315 and the MiG-315 Burger King right here. So, but you know, the main stuff, what most people are interested in and testing out on this server is the tanks. I think we've seen the Su-122 before. Seeing it at Tier 2 is a little scary, but it does have a battle rating of 3.3. Anyway, my name is Baron. Thank you all for watching. That's what's going on with the dev server right now. And we got to see some pretty cool action in the T-34 57 with a new game mode. So, let me know, out of the new vehicles, which one you want to see the most and why, and what you think of that new game mode. I actually had fun with it. I just didn't know what was happening when I went in there, and we still lost. So what do you know, the curse on the tank server continues, and the curse of rain behind me continues. My name is Baron. Thank you for watching. Make sure to pull the trigger on that like button, and I am signing out. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so we have a little bit of a special surprise today. Fresh blood. So what this event will be is we set up a little bit of an arena slash death pit execution center. Sherman and I did. And over here there's little stashes, and when you click on them, each of them have different weapons. So everyone's going to run over here and see what kind of weapons they can get. All basic stuff. There's a bow and arrow. There's one bow and arrow, a bunch of pickaxes and hatchets and whatnot. And then there's also a grenade and a rock right there. So